What's up? Welcome back to my channel, or for the first time if you're new, I'm Sylvan, and today I'm going to be reacting to the Honkai Star Rail Myriad Celestia trailer, Fables About the Stars, Part 2. I am so incredibly hyped for this. I did not realize it was going to be coming out this quickly. Given how big Fables About the Stars Part 1 was, and the fact that we have Finon directly in the thumbnail here, makes me so excited to see what we have going for us here. This is 5 minutes long. I have no idea what to expect, other than probably some bullshit with Nanook and Finon. So feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, consider becoming a channel member if you want to support me just a little bit extra, and let's get into this. What do you have for us, oh Fables About the Stars?
Last time I was on the tour was centuries ago.
Pity that you now come
Starting here with Jing Yuan and Jing Liu?
Put the abundance in
Not what I expected to start with. I knew we had revealed that something related to them would be around.
Fine.
Okay.
As we always say on the Cienjo, seeing is believing.
Oh? What?
A war of gods has
Yurilo
already
6.
begun in the Abacus's
Okay.
calculated future. The Lord
Below
Ravager's
Fu?
wish will be fulfilled, and an eon will fall.
An erudition will fall?
This is a chess game between gods. As each piece falls,
Everywhere we've been is falling apart.
Why not take
The blue.
advantage of it for our own goals?
Oh shit.
The Alliance already has the Sworn
know.
Author's remains to kill a god.
Whoa.
We just need to temper the Hunt's arrowheads with
What the
Ruin's golden blood.
What the fuck? Ruin's golden blood. Oh? Is this a trap? Maybe she's carrying out an even more important order.
A colleague told me that the Cienjo
What the fuck
Alliance
is happening?
not our enemy.
Who is that?
So why not join this great feast?
Oh my god.
And observe how billions of beating hearts
What?
walk into irreversible demise.
What is that?
Indeed. Death is not a process.
Hi,
but the
Fentilia.
outcome. Let the ignorant hunter raise their bow and kill
Oh.
what they believe in. And ultimately, kill themselves.
Jesus.
So, what's the point in this process?
Who is that?
Just for it to
Oh.
feel like a ceremony? Well, it's not like I have a right to complain about ceremonies. I mourn for worlds that can no longer laugh.
What?
Do you still
Acheron?
remember what happened?
I saw a spot of light
Whoa.
that dimmed the star.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
Then existence
Several planets at
itself
once.
was torn, leaving only a despairing white, enveloping both entropy and time.
Okay. Whoa. What is this?
We salute thee, blemished one.
Blemished
In
one.
defiance of the cosmic rules.
Oh,
that
hi,
bound
Fentilia,
all,
but
We
again.
offer a magnificent ruin.
Together, beneath your gaze, we bear witness to a colleague's end.
A colleague's end.
Be it coronation or collapse, the end of their yearning is the same.
What the fuck? Are these just like all of the emanators of destruction? Whoa, what is that?
Just a witness? That feels
This guy
like
again.
formalism. Even if every genius in the cosmos
Oh?
dropped dead, what's that got to do with us?
Yo! A guy who has a hand and a dice for a head?
The fools will only flounder in tears after the wise have been buried.
What the fuck is happening?
Cease your chatter. The sun has risen.
The sun
from
has...
the end of time.
Oh. Is that what Finon becomes?
When Iron Tomb finally breaks its shell,
Iron Tomb
the
breaks its
erudition's
shell.
calculations will meet the end.
Is new,
Who could
not
say
new.
that Akavili on a new journey won't bring another salvation?
Oh, Alcavilli has to do with this?
Trailblazing always ends up igniting something, no?
Oh.
Then, they'll achieve an even more majestic ruin.
Really? Nanook himself. Does Phynon become
Prisoner.
Iron Tomb?
Who picked up Starfire?
Prisoner who picked up Starfire?
If you are to become the first spark, then come and leave the cave.
Leave
with
the
me.
cave.
And in that fable about the stars.
Wow, literally saying Fable about the stars.
And the prayer
Oh,
to
whoa.
destruction.
I like this. Okay, I don't even know where to start with this. I'm gonna struggle probably to get all of what's in my head out and to understand everything that's going on here, but I'm gonna do my best. Going in chronological order, because I feel like that's the simplest way to do this. We start with Jing Yuan and Jing Liu, and in this interaction, it seems like Jing Yuan is trying to assess the legitimacy of Jing Liu's statements about a war with the gods, and they have a device of some kind to assure that she is telling the truth. And she says, a war of gods has already begun. As she continues to speak, we see these visuals of places we have been before falling to ruin, to destruction, in the Abacus's calculated future. Your own devices, your own fortune tellers know this war of gods is coming. Just add in my own thoughts and knowledge, we also know that the Stonehearts are planning for war themselves. A Lord Ravenger's wish will be fulfilled, Iron Tomb specifically, and an Eon erudition specifically will fall. Noose will fall. That is the prediction. In the War of Gods, the erudition will not survive. This is a chess game between gods, as each piece falls to counter the next. Why not take advantage of it for our own goals? We may be merely mortals in this grand game, but within all of the destruction, within the ruin, we can do things to benefit ourselves. There is ways that we can survive and benefit, even. The Alliance already has the Swarm Author's remains. They already have something of the abundance to kill a god. The Alliance has that power, it would seem, that potential, and it is paired with the visual of essentially Noose dying, the light going out, and their body disappearing. But it seems to truly achieve this, something must be done. They must temper the hunt's arrowheads, make the hunt more powerful. If we throw our lot behind the hunt and grant them further power, we can play this to our advantage. We can kill a god, tip the scales in our favor. And how do you temper the arrowheads of the hunt? With Ruin's golden blood. Ruin, I imagine, being essentially a different word for destruction in this case. And notably, that leads us to Amphorius for whatever reason. Something about Amphorius is important to killing gods. Then we shift our perspective to that of Fei Xiao with all of her people. Interestingly enough, I can't help but notice here that Zhao Chou has a blindfold on, actually. Rather interesting, makes sense though, he's blind at this point. Just an interesting touch. It seems that Fei Xiao, as one of the generals, is looking over the actions of Selenova's legions, who I believe is one of the Lord Ravengers we see later. So the Alliance, or at the very least Fei Xiao and her forces of the Alliance, are observing and perhaps even battling the forces of the destruction, or at least Selenova specifically. We already know that the Alliance and the Antimatter Legion are officially enemies after what had gone on in the story, so this obviously is in some way an extension of that. And as they discuss what potentially is going on, if Selenova's forces were treating as a trap, but the possibility of her carrying out an even more important order comes up. All eyes are turning to Amphorius. The Antimatter Legion and its Lord Ravagers are all looking to whatever is happening here in Amphorius. We then get to a point where everything gets a lot more complicated and cryptic and hard to figure out. Who I imagine may be Selenova talking, says, a colleague told me that the Xianzhou Alliance is not our enemy. I'm not entirely sure what this is supposed to mean, because they are literally fighting each other. The Antimatter Legion and the Xianzhou Alliance are in conflict. Maybe it's in some way of saying the Xianzhou Alliance is not a threat, or that they are not the true enemy, or maybe it's on some more cosmic scale of we have no enemies because our goals are beyond simple warfare and conflict. If the Xianzhou is destroyed along the way, that is the case, but it is not out of malice, it is merely out of fulfilling the destruction. But regardless of the exact intention of that line, the same voice then says, "So why not join this great feast?" as Selenova seemingly spawns doomsday beasts, as we zoom out to reveal what I suppose may be her forces, her legions, her fleet. We've never really seen the ships of the Antimatter Legion before, but focusing on the lines again, so why not join this great feast and observe how billions of beating hearts walk into irreversible demise? There's a show to be had. The Xianzhou are not our enemies. So let's all just watch as everyone falls to ruin and dies. Everyone is destroyed. Billions of hearts silenced. We then get what I only imagine can be Phantilia, based on the rough design being similar to what we've seen of her, as well as all of the flowers. And she is sitting on a throne with countless worshippers, it would seem. Death is not a process, but an outcome. This leads me more to that idea of the Xianzhou not being our enemy, because we are merely fulfilling destruction. We do not do it out of malice or aggression, we do it out of bringing destruction to the universe. Let the ignorant hunter raise their bow. They will destroy themselves in time. We do not need to consider them our enemy, because they will fall of their own accord and kill what they love, what they believe in. Inevitably, the alliance will fall. Normal people will fight amongst each other, inadvertently destroy what they believe in and what they love as their ideals twist and contort as they become more aggressive and turn against each other. Very much within the Phantilia philosophy, and ultimately kill themselves. No one will survive. But then we shift to this person that later we see has under their hat a dice held in a hand for a head. And having looked at the description, seeing the voice credits, I can only imagine that this is Asat Pramod, one of the Lord Ravagers as well, that I don't think we've heard anything about prior to now, who, despite the fact that Phantilia said death is not a process, he then asks, what's the point of this process? We're seeing the different philosophies and beliefs of the different Lord Ravagers. We've shifted from the perspective of the people we know, talking about what the War of the Gods will look like, and questioning what the Lord Ravagers and the Antimatter Legion are doing, to the Lord Ravagers discussing amongst themselves what their plans are, what their beliefs are, what their intentions are. Where the first Fables about the Stars was about each of the different Aeons, this one seems much more about each of the Ravagers. But with that in mind, Asat questions this process, the purpose of it. Is it just for it to feel like a ceremony? But then he says, it's not like I have a right to complain about ceremonies. I mourn for worlds that can no longer laugh. It's interesting. It's almost as if Asat, as a Lord Ravager, is a representation and embodiment of someone who watches over what comes after destruction, someone who mourns that which has been destroyed, where Phantilia embodies the process of people tearing each other apart and destruction coming from those around you betraying you and that degradation of society and trust. And Selenova seems like maybe they are more of that militaristic side of the actual just offensive pure destruction, maybe on a more like tactical level, maybe even. Asat seems to be what comes after, and this is represented by the fact that he is walking through this frozen, ashen, destroyed city with this strange, macabre corpse structure almost in the center. And something I can't help but notice is previously we had this glowing circle when talking about everyone inevitably reaching their demise. When Selenova was talking, this one. It's not quite as obvious and maybe not intended, but at the very end of Phantilia's section, when she says that everyone will in the end kill themselves, there is this glowing ring looming over everything as well. And now, with Asat, we have him looking up at this strange structure that shapes this circle with golden blood or cracks flowing down it. There's something about this glowing, almost golden circle that is this continuous symbol we're seeing. Might just be a coincidence in the case of the Phantilia one, but at the very least, the Selenova and Asat ones, though visually very separate and distinct, have that same core motif. But then, interestingly enough, we go to Acheron, who's seemingly talking to a Synthirster, which we know are these like echoes of the dead almost, of those who have fallen to nihility. She seems to be asking them if they still remember what happened. And it seems the Synthirster came from a planet or series of planets that were devastated. They saw a spot of light that dimmed the star as we see this bright light piercing through several planets, bringing them to utter ruin. Then existence itself was torn, leaving only a despairing white. It seems that this is a Synthirster that came into being after the oblivion of an entire star system. And based on this figure, I would be willing to guess that it is by their hand. And I think this might be Zephyro, one of the other Lord Ravagers, who is all about like doomsdays and seems to be this sort of like one-man army type that can just destroy planets or something. So it would line up with that of if that white light was just Zephyro bursting through several planets or something and destroying every single life that was there, and now Acheron is left picking up the pieces as she usually is, but that despairing white seemingly envelops both entropy and time. We have this visual of what looks like a black hole, but it's white, presumably the effects of Zephyro. Interesting that Zephyro can leave in his wake something that resembles a black hole, yet that is distinctly opposite in coloration. It is almost in contrast and conflict with Nihility in a lot of ways. It makes sense why the actions of Zephyro would result in so much Nihility and so many Synthirsters and draw the attention of Acheron, but also black holes seem to sort of be the representation of and domain of Nihility. So for one of the Destruction to be able to manifest such a similar phenomenon is interesting, but this nonetheless shows us something about Zephyro. Zephyro is not one to talk, not one to express their own philosophy. They just leave oblivion in their wake for people like Acheron to find. And also, going towards my little theory that doesn't actually like have anything to it, just is an interesting similarity. This is a bright circle. Zephyro's bright circle is that of a white black hole. We then have these concentric glowing gold rings that we pull out from, that then as the center fades out and the outside begins to glow and gold seems to flow out of it almost, it visually is very much sort of Dark Souls-y with like the dark sign, but this time with gold. But there also is this sort of like rainbow hue to it in some spots. It's interesting, but it pours out, and it seems we return to Phantilia talking. We salute the blemished one, whoever that is, in defiance of the cosmic roots that bind all, being the paths. Every aspect of the universe is bound by the paths in some way, shape, or form. The universe is swayed by the Pathstriders and the emanators of these paths. The Aeons themselves shape the universe, but the blemished one stands in defiance of that. Perhaps the Lord Ravagers believe that despite being an Aeon himself, Nanook, as the Destruction, defies the structure of the universe, of the other paths, and not only do they salute the blemished one, they offer a magnificent ruin, a magnificent destruction. Then I believe it's Selenova once more talking, saying, "Together beneath your gaze, we bear witness to a colleague's end," which is interesting. I'm not sure what colleague they're speaking of. Phantilia's still around. Zypho seems fine. He's doing his own thing. We haven't killed any of the Lord Ravagers, so unless one has fallen just in separate circumstances that we don't know of, I'm not sure. But then she continues, be it coronation or collapse, the end of their yearning is the same. Whether it is ascension or destruction, that yearning of theirs ends the same. Maybe they're talking about Finon? I'm not entirely sure. This one escapes me. We then get this visual of this cosmically sized mech. It seems to have suns just inside of it. Whatever this is, I have no idea, but it's insane looking and I love it. But then we return to Sat Pramad, who continues to question the other, continues to question the intent and meaning of his fellow Lord Ravagers. Just to witness? We're just here to witness the fall of a colleague? That feels like formalism. Even if every genius in the cosmos dropped dead, what's that got to do with us? Why do we care about the fall and death of any individual person? But Phantilia just laughs and asks, still not enough for you? You keep questioning everything we say, saying it's not enough, that this doesn't align with you. But the fools will only flounder in tears after the wise have been buried. Cut off the head and the body will flounder until it dies. But then suddenly, between the discussion of all of these Lord Ravagers, Zephyro speaks up, stating, cease your chatter. The sun has risen from the end of time. Once again, are they talking about Finon? Are they talking about Emphorius? The sun has risen, dawn has broken, dawn has been ignited, and furthermore, we then have mention of Iron Tomb again, when Iron Tomb finally breaks its shell, implying one of the Lord Ravagers is yet to escape from whatever is containing them, has yet to fully manifest even, perhaps. But I don't know if Iron Tomb is actually meant to be someone like Finon, because Iron Tomb is one of the ones that we have known of, or at least heard the name of before. Having refreshed my memory on them, Iron Tomb has to do with attacking highly advanced civilizations, messing with technology, that kind of thing. If I'm focusing on Amphorius, the only thing I can think of is Lygus. Perhaps Lygus is a Lord Ravager, and his true identity is that of Iron Tomb? If he truly is puppeting whatever kind of simulation or whatever Amphorius is, or maybe if Amphorius is a prison made for them that they have slowly been breaking or something, I could see that. I could maybe see that. And what we know of Iron Tomb sort of lines up with this line, with them being connected to technology and attacking highly advanced societies and stuff. Once they break their shell, the erudition's calculations will meet the end. All of this is pointing to, if Iron Tomb can break free from whatever is containing them, if Iron Tomb can achieve whatever goal they seek, it will result in the end of the erudition. Perhaps this is Iron Tomb, as it's here that we're shifting between the various Lord Ravagers, and this is one of the things we see. But interestingly enough, once again, questioning everyone else, Asat asks, but who can say that Akavili on a new journey won't bring another salvation? How do we know that the Trailblaze won't stop us, won't stop Iron Tomb, won't save the erudition? And Selenova, I believe, responds, trailblazing always ends up igniting something, no? Regardless of if they bring salvation, it will spark something. The Trailblaze will start something. Whether that is further destruction, salvation, whatever else, it always does ignite something. But Selenova believes they'll achieve an even more majestic ruin. They will ignite everything in the worst way possible. They will bring a truly majestic ruin to the universe. And then, after having gone through showing us all of the Lord Ravagers, at this point I think realistically the big mech with the stars is probably Iron Tomb. We see Nanook. And it's at this point that suddenly we hear Lygus. We return to Amphorius. And seemingly speaking to Phynon, that's my guess here, says, prisoner who picked up Starfire. The core flames, perhaps? And we have this visual as he lifts the blade. We see through it a reflection of his god form, his more destruction-associated visual, his golden eye replacing his blue. If you are to become the first spark, if you are to ignite the universe, if you are to spark the dawn, then come and leave the cave with me. Lygus is egging Phynon on. Come, leave the cave. Exit the prison that is Amphorius. Become destruction. Whether Phynon is in some way becoming Nanook, as plenty have theorized, including myself, or if he is becoming a Lord Ravager, or if he is becoming something else entirely, Lygus wants this to happen. Lygus is urging him on, and whatever it is, it seems like it is a core point in the domino effect of the beginning of the War of the Gods. It is something the Lord Ravagers are eagerly watching over, if Lygus is not one himself. And as we have the visual of the burning world of Amphorius that Phynon fights to protect is just a fire in the hand of Lygus. To extrapolate off of the sort of reference they're using of the cave, Amphorius is just the shadows made by a fire on the walls of a cave, is a false world that people like Phynon know as their only reality, but Lygus is urging Phynon to step out of the cave into the real universe for whatever reason, to become that spark, that ignition to this war, perhaps. And in that fable about the stars, will pen the prelude of destruction as his face changes, his identity shifting. And it's this really that points me to thinking he is another Lord Ravager, or at the very least some other figure who is very much wanting destruction to come out on top in this oncoming war. And that is where we are left. A discussion amongst the Lord Ravagers about the future, about the oncoming war, about the fall of the erudition, an oncoming oblivion that even the Nihility is noticing. And it all seems to center on the schemes of Lygus and the spark that Phynon will ignite. Is this a fate that is destined to occur? Is it something that through our involvement we shall stop? As the representation of the Trailblaze of Akavili, will we bring salvation to Phynon and Amphorius, stopping whatever this grand plan, this scheme is? We'll have to see. There's no way to know until it happens. But at least for now, Phynon and all of the people of Amphorius have been playing in the palm of Lygus, and Lygus very well may be puppeting them all towards destruction, perhaps turning Phynon into a powerful tool for the destruction, or something along those lines. After this, I still very much believe that it is possible that Amphorius is a simulation of the origin of Nanook, that Phynon is, no matter how truly accurate to the origin, a representation of the man who would become Nanook, someone who would ignite the dawn, bring flaming ruin to all that remains of their world, intentionally or otherwise, and ascend to godhood. Perhaps that is why Lygus is so desperate to observe this, to have greater understanding of the ascension of their god. Whatever it is, I cannot wait to find out. But it is the kind of thing that I imagine we may get answers to much sooner than we did with the first fable about the stars. The first Fables about the stars, it took quite a while for us to understand everything that was being said there, and arguably we don't understand it all. Where this, I can understand at least where everything is pointing, even if I don't understand why or how far-reaching the consequences will be. It's really interesting. But then to close out, looking at the description, we have a little bit more. A prophecy known as the theory of 4 apocalypses circulates among the Omen vanguards, that 4 paths will push the cosmos to an end of finality. If I recall correctly, the Omen Vanguards are a group that follows the finality, so it makes sense that they would have such a prophecy. Destruction is one of them. Nook's flame shall devour all. In the heat death, the universe meets its first fate, an eternal end. In their terror, mortals asked, where does their primum mobile truly stem? Is it contempt for life? Succor for the universe? Or the denial and hatred towards the gods? None know the answer, but at the end of destruction, civilizations, living beings, all paths, and the aeons will be burned to dust, like the stars once shined above. Ultimately, this just brings me more questions, honestly. Obviously, destruction makes sense to be one of the 4 paths attached to this prophecy. The destruction of all things is a finality. I would not be surprised if nihility is another one. True oblivion, true end, true loss of faith, but what of the other 2? One interpretation could be that finality is one of them, but I also very well feel like that could easily not be the case, and it's that 4 other paths will lead to finality. But other than destruction, which they call out, and nihility as a fairly obvious one, especially because we saw some of nihility here, my best guess based on this trailer is the hunt and the erudition. Is it perhaps, as Jing Liu was describing, the hunt wielding greater power that is able to kill erudition that leads everything to ruin? Or perhaps it's hunt in abundance, seeing as it seems the Swarm author's remains might be a part in what enables the hunt to kill the erudition. There's a lot of options here, but I feel like it's something in that realm that is the most realistic based on the information we have. Whether or not this prophecy will come true, we shall see, but it's interesting nonetheless. But with all that, if I keep trying to analyze this, I'm probably just going to hurt myself. So I'm going to leave it there, leave it to other people to figure out more, really go deep into the lore and figure everything out. So feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, and special thanks to all of my channel members, being Desaize and Pokalove101 at the normal tier, and Kondo Nano at the cool person tier. Very much appreciate all of your support as always, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye!